Hi, and welcome to Your Future, Your Finances. I'm your host, Brian Kuhn. We've got a great show for you today. We have a great guest, Paul Berry, with us. We're going to talk all about journalism, his past in the D.C. News reporting industry, and some other stories, I'm sure. Thanks for coming on the show.
Well, thanks for the invitation. I'm pleased to be invited and glad to be with you.
You have a history here, a long history of some great projects. I want to read a couple of them. You were award-winning producer, reporter, news anchor covering Washington, D.C. news and some time in Detroit for more than 25 years. And you currently host the nationally syndicated weekly radio talk show, Home and Family Finance, which I had the opportunity to be a guest on.
We enjoyed you. You were very well received.
Good. Good, fantastic, and that was a wonderful experience. 9-time local Emmy Award winner, established the Washington area TV programs Crime Solvers and 7 on Your Side, and is a member of several local civic, charitable, and professional organizations. And some other things that hopefully we'll get into during the interview,
sure.
And then married and 3 children in your spare time, right?
That's right.
Fantastic.
All of that. That's right.
What are you working on these days?
Being 72 years old and trying to make sure I can move about. And every once in a while you have to check, you get this age, because there are things that kind of supposedly happen to you, like, your memory and all that.
Yep.
So, if I can't remember a name, and sometimes I don't, I wonder if that's the beginning of Alzheimer's. Okay, I guess all of us have that concern as we get older, but so far it has been graceful in so many ways. So I'm just now enjoying kind of semi-retirement, and I guess if you ask me what I'm most proud of, it would be my 3 children. All 3 of them are gainfully employed. They've been respectful. They're delightful. They're in good health.
That's good.
And of course, the woman still loves me. She still thinks I'm that guy she married 30-some-odd years ago.
Fantastic. And you do the show, and it's at least partially about personal finance.
Yeah, the show I do on a weekly basis called Home and Family Finance, or Are You Financially Fit? That's Financially Fit with Paul Berry will probably end up being its name. And it is really about kitchen table issues that we all face. And we really don't have an easy place to go sometimes to answer. And of course, you know that as a financial advisor, you know the kinds of things that we should know, but that we don't know, or that if we ever did know, we've forgotten. And our show is designed to provide those answers, and to provide it in a way that is entertaining and interesting and effective.
Is personal finance education something you just wanted to get into?
No. No, not,
No.
no, not at all. What happened is I started doing a program called 7 on Your Side some 25 or 30 years ago.
Yep.
And what I noted is that much of what I ended up talking about in terms of the stories were all about finance, about people's money and the kinds of mistakes they make, and don't know how to get out of it. And so we would get about 50,000 letters a year at WJLA, Channel 7, every year. And we used interns, we brought them in. So we made it a learning experience. Young people came in to solve the problems, but also working on a television station and working on many things that affected them. They were learning as well. And we would solve the problems, and then of those cases that we would solve, and we solved over 95% of the cases, we would put 5 of them on the air. We usually won't on every day, but we would have 1 or 2 or sometimes 3 stories a week. But almost every one of those stories dealt with finances, dealt with mistakes people make. A lot of people would like to believe that 7 on Your Side came about because people were dishonest or rip-offs. Most businesses are not in the business to rip you off. They're in business to do business. What happens there's the communication between the business and the consumer breaks down. And then people either, if they don't know the rules, they won't admit it. And if the company has broken those rules, they're afraid of the consequences, and so people stop talking. That's when you call in a TV station, or a reporter in my case, 7 on Your Side. And so over the years, I learned to do that, and I really did learn the rules of the road, of the financial road. I also learned the simplicity of it. And that's, I can sit there and talk about all of the big words and the terminology associated with investing. But that's not what most people are affected by. Most people are affected by the kitchen table issues, The bread was stale. Okay? When I got it, I bought the bread and it was stale. I'm going to take it back to the store, okay? Oh, yeah, so I waited a week to take it back, but the bread was stale. Well, no, why don't you take it back the day you found it and say, hey, this bread, now the store owner says, the bread's, of course it's going to be stale 7 or 8 days or 9 days after. And you say, no, it was stale when I bought it. Well, it's just a small thing, but an important thing. Did you call them and say, I'm going to bring the bread back because it's stale? Then you can wait if you want 5 or 6 days, but you waited that long. And now the store owner doesn't know whether it was or not, or why you're there. It's those simple little things, and communications break down. And so we worked on that. Most of our stories were really a matter of lack of communication between a consumer and a fair-minded clerk or store owner.
Do you think that the shows that you do now, the radio show and 7 on Your Side and a lot of other nonprofit financial literacy organizations, you think all that work, you think it's making a difference? You think people are getting smarter about finances?
I think they are. I think as a group we move forward. I think if you look back to where we were a few years ago in terms of our financial literacy, and that's what we're really talking about here. How literate have we become? And I think we are a lot more literate today than we were a few years ago.
Or a generation ago.
Or a generation ago. I don't mean it's not an overnight thing, but I think the masses slowly move in this direction. Not only because we need to know, but that we need to move toward literacy, but because our situation and our system demands it. It doesn't. It is not designed to advance ignorance. It is designed to advance literacy and smarts. So I think, I'm happy that I think we could do a lot more. What I've never understood is how we can play what I call educational roulette, Brian. We don't know what kids are going to become, right? We have no idea. So we give them a little bit of everything, don't we?
Yeah.
A little science, a little math, a little history, a little this. We do that. What's the one thing we know that they're going to be when they grow up?
Interacting with money.
Consumers, right?
Yeah.
They're going to be interacting with the dollar. And yet we don't require and demand that they learn one thing about that. Now, that's not true today as much as it was years ago. But we graduate young people out of school who don't know how to balance their checkbook. They can't.
Yeah.
And now it's even worse because now they got the computer and they'll say, well,
the computer will do it, right?
it'll do it. And they're right. It will do it. But that's part of the problem. We have to make sure that we educate young people today who have some sense of being an effective and educated consumer, so that when they get to the marketplace and hold their money up, they're not going to lose it.
We'll talk more about that. We're going to continue on talking about the career of Paul Berry as well as his current project, the Home and Family Finance Radio Show.
Yes.
And we'll be right back. You're watching Your Future, Your Finances.